Hey everyone! So, I just finished watching Dr. Jackson Crawford's latest video on Loki, and as someone who's been diving deep into Norse mythology myself, I have to say he
And
absolutely nailed it.
probably no figure in Norse myth other than Odin is so consistently misrepresented in many ways in popular culture. Now, of course, modern storytellers can do what they want, but we need to approach the medieval myths with an appreciation of what's really there.
For starters, the whole Loki is Thor's brother thing, which is so prevalent in modern pop culture, especially in the Marvel universe, Dr. Crawford is completely correct. The Eddas clearly state their different parentage. Loki's blood brotherhood with Odin, as he pointed out, is a far more significant relationship in the original sources, and it frames their interactions in a much more complex way. Dr. Crawford really clarified some of the most persistent misconceptions surrounding Loki, and it's so important to get these details right if you truly want to understand the original myths. And the point about Laufey being Loki's father in some modern interpretations? Again, Dr. Crawford is spot on. The sources clearly identify Laufey as Loki's mother and his father as Farboti. It's these kinds of details that often get lost or changed in modern retellings. I also really appreciated Dr. Crawford highlighting the limitations of Loki's magical abilities in the original myths. He's primarily a shapeshifter, which is a power often associated with the Jotnar. As Dr. Crawford mentioned, he's not this all-powerful illusionist wizard that we sometimes see portrayed. Understanding this nuance really changes how you interpret his actions and motivations in the stories. Perhaps one of the most crucial points Dr. Crawford made was about not equating Loki with Satan. This Christian-influenced lens really distorts Loki's role. He's not a purely evil, oppositional figure in the same way. His relationship with the gods is far more complicated, often being a trickster and instigator, but also sometimes an ally. The example Dr. Crawford gave of Loki accompanying Thor on many adventures perfectly illustrates this. And finally, the idea of Loki as a god of fire. Dr. Crawford's explanation about the connection to the name Logi in the story of Utgarda Loki makes so much sense. It's a fascinating linguistic coincidence that has unfortunately led to a widespread misunderstanding. As Dr. Crawford said, there's really no basis in the original sources for associating Loki with fire. Overall, Dr. Crawford's video is a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to learn about the real Loki from the original Norse myths. It's so refreshing to see someone with his expertise dedicated to sharing accurate information and encouraging people to look at the primary sources. So, if you're interested in Norse mythology, especially if you've only encountered Loki through modern interpretations, I highly recommend checking out Dr. Jackson Crawford's YouTube channel and his translations. You'll get a much richer and more authentic understanding of this fascinating and complex figure.